Hello and welcome to episode 4 of my Tottenham Hotspur Football Manager 16 beta Let's Play. I'm Kev and I'm really struggling. I am just not used to starting with a big club. Anytime I've ever managed in the Premier League probably for the last 10 years of playing Football Manager, it's always been a little club that I've got promoted up to that level, or I've been already established in the game and been offered a bigger job and made it into the Premier League that way. It's been so long since I've just started out with a Premier League club, and I'm really struggling with this save. It's not easy bringing in players on transfers when you've got no idea uh, no idea who you should be signing. I have a thing where I won't use the player search screen. I'll only sign players who've been identified by my scouts. So when you're starting fresh in a Premier League on a fresh save, you don't have a lot of players to choose from, and that's been a bit of an issue. And doing that whilst trying to sort out tactics that are going to work in FM16 is proving to be something of a battle. Hopefully, it's making for an entertaining save. Watching me fail miserably. It's a little bit different from what you'd normally expect on a YouTube save, I imagine. If we have a look at how I'm getting on, this episode is going to include a live com of the match against Manchester City, which I'll do a little bit later on in the episode. You can see I've finally got round to adding the logo pack for FM16 as well. But if we just have a look back through how the game has been going since you were last with me, I think our last match on a live com was the home game against Swansea, which was 6 or 7 games ago now, where we were pretty comfortable in that game. We'd started using our new tactic a little bit, starting to be a little bit more effective, sharing the possession a little more evenly, creating some chances, which is all good stuff. Since then, I've kind of given the tactics a bit of a reshuffle again, mainly because of these next 2 games where I just wasn't happy with the tweaks to the. I was still tweaking the FM15 tactic for these 2 games and just not really happy with the results I was getting from that. This game against Victoria Pleasant. Is that how you say that? I know I've put out basically a reserve team for this match, but I feel like we should, even with a reserve team, be able to go and get more than a 1-1 draw against a team at that kind of level. So that was a disappointing game. And then the away game to Southampton was really disappointing because we just did not ever look in it at any point. That is comfortably the worst possession percentage I have ever had in my history of playing Football Manager. I can't believe that we've only had 26% possession in that match. And they've just completely dominated us. I don't know how they've only beaten us 2-0. To make matters worse, Southampton were bottom of the league at the time of this match as well. So we were absolutely hammered. And frankly, I'm surprised I wasn't sacked after this match. I think if I'd have been playing football chairman rather than football manager, this would have been the game where I pulled the trigger and just sacked the manager for just it was one of many poor results so far this season, and the performance was just abysmal. So the response to that was complete rethink. You'll see, and we'll have a look at this in a minute. I've gone for what I'm calling my back to basics tactic. I completely started from scratch in FM16, like I suppose I should have done initially. Shouldn't have been trying to bring in my FM15 tactic, but I'm lazy and thought it might work. It does some years, it doesn't other years. So what we've done with this tactic, I'm staying with the 4-2-3-1 purely because the Tottenham squad is set up to play this way. There's only one striker in the squad. There's a large number of wingers and attacking midfielders. Um, there's not really any holding midfield players, so I struggle to see any other lineup we can actually put out. But I've made a few tweaks to it. As you can see, I'm trying to be a little bit more balanced and a little bit more sensible, building a tactic from the ground up. So we're going for a counter-attacking strategy with a structured team shape. I've got 2 centre-backs just on defend duties, really trying to, as I say, go back to basics. I've got one full-back on an attacking instruction, one on a support instruction, and then I've tried to balance that with the wide players up front, the winger in front of the attacking fullback is playing on a winger instruction with support. And then in front of the support fullback, we've got an inside forward on attack. Hoping there's going to be a lot of crosses coming in from this side of the pitch that can then be converted by Harry Kane and by Mertens coming in off the right wing. That's the thinking behind that. We've gone back to an advanced playmaker rather than an attacking midfielder for this role here, purely because I think it suits Lamela better. And then we've got Harry Kane on a target man role with an attack instruction, just to try and get him out of Lamela's way. You'll see with the new squares that they have on the tactics screen this year in Football Manager, when they start to overlap a little bit, it is the game telling you that the players are getting in each other's way. And when I had Kane on a support duty, you can see that him and Lamela are starting to trip over each other, and you see that in the match engine. So I've stuck him on attack just to get him out of Lamela's way and hopefully have him right up there on the shoulder of defenders, trying to get on the end of these crosses. I tried him as a complete forward. He hasn't actually played a game as a target man yet, but my assistant manager has just given me a message in the backroom advice screen saying he would be better suited to a target man. So why not? Let's give Harry Kane a go as a target man. In midfield, we've got a deep lying playmaker on a defensive instruction and a box to box midfielder on support. I think this lineup is much more balanced. It plugs a lot of the gaps that we had in the system that we had before. It's very much built to be a system that will be effective in a game of football rather than a system that's built to exploit the match engine, which I guess is what the old one was a little bit. Team instructions wise, again, trying to be as basic as possible with this. We want to keep hold of possession. We want to be passing into space. I've told them to be more disciplined, especially because we're playing quite a big match today, and I want us to be running at defences. We've got a lot of very skillful players going forward, but other than that, I want us to be sort of holding our shape and playing quite deep. Because we're not great defensively, I don't want to leave big gaping holes behind us. So that is what we're going to be playing against Man City today. To show you how the difference it's made in the league and in previous matches, we used this with our reserve team against Chelsea's first team in the League Cup and managed a 2-2 draw and then beat them on penalties. So that was a really nice sort of first game for the back to basics system, because as you can see, these are not our first choice players. They are their first choice players. So I was really happy with the difference that system was able to make. We were creating more chances. We were getting on the ball a little bit more. So that was a really promising start for the new system. We then played Bournemouth and hammered them. 3-0. Another Harry Kane hat trick. He seems to score his goals in these bursts like this. Really happy with that result. We then had another disappointing European night. The Europa League isn't really working for us this season. This is pretty much the same lineup that did so well against Chelsea the week before. Really struggling in Europe again. Struggling to keep the ball. We created a lot of chances, but without Harry Kane up front, and I think that's a big difference when we play this second string team, because we're basically playing without a striker. We still create, but we're not converting any chances. And then this last game was the first big disappointment for the new system. The scoreline doesn't really tell the full story, I don't feel. I think it was a fairly even match. We didn't play really, really badly. Watford were just more efficient in front of goal, and it was a sloppy result more than anything, and something hopefully that is going to be a little bit of a blip. I really hope this new system is going to make a bit of a difference against Man City today, because I can't see the board putting up with me for much longer. I mean, if we look at the board confidence screen, amazingly they're still satisfied with my management of the team, which I'm struggling to understand. And I think we should be performing slightly better across the competitions this season. Yeah, too right we should. What are we? Where are we in the league? We're 13th in the Premier League after 13 games, and that is just not good enough for a team that's supposed to be a top six team. It's nice to be given a little bit more patience. I'm not sure if that would result in a manager keeping their job in the real world. I can't see me making it beyond the January transfer window if we don't start to turn results around, though. So this game against Man City today is going to be a really big game. It's a game we'd probably be expected to lose, but we really, really need to win. So we've already been through that lineup. That's the team that I'm playing. That's pretty much our strongest team. The only player who's missing, Toby Alderweireld. Ridiculously, he recovered from his broken foot, but in his training, before he even came back into the team, he then sprained his ankle, so he's out for another month. This guy, if he ever plays for us, I'll be very surprised. But this is pretty much, without him, the strongest team that we can put out. So if this doesn't put on a good show against Man City, I probably deserve the sack. As you can see, media rightly putting them as favourites. They're third in the league at the moment. So we just need to... Southampton have sacked Ronald Koeman. Yeah, it's unfortunate. Hopefully, that might be a job I can jump into when I get sacked. I've left Ganso out because he's still coming back from injury. And yeah, this is kind of make or break for us now. So let's get into this match and hope that we can turn something around. Now, those kits are far too close together in colour. I can barely tell them apart. This might just be the fact that I'm colourblind, but I'm red-green colourblind, not white and light blue. But I'm struggling to tell those kits apart. But not much happening in that. Right, so we're 10 minutes in and we're finally getting our first highlight. It is a Man City highlight and it is an Aguero goal, and that is pretty much the first chance of the game. That's really unfortunate. Looking at the clip there, we'll watch it again on the 3D replay. I don't necessarily think there's anything our defence could have done about that. That was just a piece of individual brilliance. We shouldn't have left him in that much space, but how do you not let him have that much space? He's the kind of player who's just going to find that space anyway. Possibly we should have a holding midfield player looking after a player like that, but we don't really have one at the club. So kind of hands are tied a little bit there again. This isn't necessarily the kind of formation I'd want to play in an ideal world, but like I say, the players that we've got, we don't really have a choice to mix things up a little bit. Right, we're half hour in. There's still only been the one highlight. This is a really boring game, which I suppose is not the worst thing in the world when we're favourites to lose the match. Come on, let's get the ball forward. I still can't bring myself to say "come on Spurs" or anything like that. It just doesn't roll off the tongue properly. But oh, that's a wonder goal from Harry Kane. That's ridiculous, and that is against the run of play. And I will happily take that. Oh, it's a shame we've got the highlight from this angle, but he's hit this from so far out. He had no right to score from there. And their goalkeeper's probably going to be a little bit disappointed with that because that's right in the middle of the net, but we're certainly not going to complain. Neither team is playing particularly well in this match. There's been two pieces of individual brilliance, but neither team's created very much. There's been no clear-cut chances yet. Possession, Man City are edging possession a little bit, but you would expect them to. They're the better team. Come on, let's get a goal before half-time. Seeing Mertens out on the left wing there reminds me of the one other instruction I've put on this new system. Go on, Eric Lamela. That's 2-1. That's fantastic. We'll watch this again on the 3D replay before I explain the one other little thing that's on this tactic that I forgot to mention when I was going through it before. But that is a lovely little through ball from Mertens, and Lamela's finished that brilliantly. That's exactly how our front three are supposed to be functioning behind Harry Kane. But yeah, the one other instruction, you might have noticed it just flicking on the screen there. I've got my my winger on the left and my inside forward on the right. I've got them set to swap positions with each other throughout the match, purely because every wide player we've got at the club can play on either wing and can use either foot. So I'm happy for them to use a little bit of intelligence and swap and change as need be. It makes them a little bit more difficult to mark, mixes the threat up a little bit. So yeah, they are sort of swapping and changing, and that Mertens, although he started the game on the right as the inside forward, he's come and created that second goal by coming over to the left-hand side and laying up a chance for Lamela. So it's showing that having them swapping around is quite effective. We had a bit of a media complaint recently that we're not passing the ball enough, but looking at this, we've passed the ball nearly as much as Man City have, and they're a good passing side, so I'm not really sure. Right, Ryan Mason has picked up a knock. Let's bring him off. He's our box-to-box midfielder. We can't have him running around and not really able to keep up with the game. So we're just going to bring Alex Witsel on for him. Witsel probably would have started the game if he hadn't been in quite a poor run of recent form. He more than anybody is struggling to cope with the new system that we're playing, I think. He really wants to be playing a deep line playmaker role, but I don't have room for two of them in the side, and Bentaleb is doing an excellent job there. So at the moment, Witsel is being forced to play box-to-box midfielder when he gets into the side. Or he's played a couple of games even as the advanced playmaker in Europe, but he's struggling a little bit. Right, I think I might bring Son off in a second as well. See him swapping places with Mertens again there. Go on, let's get one more goal. This would be a fantastic result if we could pick up a win here. Oh, and Lamella's in space, so that is probably the first clear-cut chance of the game. That should have been a goal. Right. Let's bring Son off. Bring Chadley on. We really have got a lot of these good attacking players at the club. It is nice to be able to constantly have someone fresh to bring on. Right. Right, come on, let's see this game out now. We've created a lot more than Man City have. Oh, and that's just sort of pinged across the front of goal a couple of times there. We should get a goal here. This is a sort of situation where if you don't score these, you are asking for the other team to go up the other end and nick an equaliser, which they just don't deserve. If you look at how many chances we've created compared to them, they are a better team than us, so they probably are still backing themselves to come back into this. But go on, Danny Rose. No. Come on, we just need to get... Someone needs to get a shot off here. Kane, oh... I think that's ticked over as another clear-cut chance. I'd say that's a little bit harsh calling that a clear-cut chance, but I suppose he got the ball in the 6-yard box. You'd kind of expect him to do something with it. Go on, Chadley. You've got space and time. Let's get that ball in. We just need another goal. I am getting a little nervous here because it is potentially such a big result if we can hold on to this. Right, let's see. For our last substitution, have we got anyone to come on for Bentaleb? Yeah, let's bring Moussa Dembele on, and I'm going to swap them over, put Witsler as deep lying playmaker, have Dembele as box to box. They're both much happier with that. Just gives us a little bit more energy in our midfield again. Obviously, we've now got 10 minutes where we can't afford to pick up any kind of injury because it'd be disastrous. But come on, we can hold on to this surely. See, we didn't want a Man City highlight here, and they're just knocking the ball around us. We need someone to get a challenge in. Right, no more highlights now is fine. Yeah, Harry Kane's looking exhausted. We haven't got any other strikers. We can't swap him for anyone. Come on, we're in the last 3 minutes of the match. We've got to hold on to this now. See, we can't. Harry Kane should be winning the ball there, but then I guess he's exhausted. What more can we expect? We can't be letting them pass the ball the way around they are, though. Well in, Danny Rose. Right, Lamella, just run to the corner with it. Chadley, out to the corner. Oh, Harry Kane, that is superb. What a wonderful team goal that is. Brilliant finish from Harry Kane, but the way we pass that ball around, this is the way I want my teams to be playing. Excellent pass out to Mertens, and the through ball he plays to Harry Kane there is phenomenal. That is a fantastic goal, and this has been an excellent result. I'm hoping this is us turning around our season. Really, really impressed with how we played in this game. We've still not able to get a handle on the possession, but then we are playing a counter-attacking system. We expected Man City to come at us, but we've created so many more chances than they have. We've had three clear-cut chances, scored 3 goals. That is an excellent result. Wow, moves us into a continental qualification spot. How tight is the Premier League at the moment? Where does that move us up to? Wow, we're up to 7th with that. You know what? It's just one little result like that has made our season so far look a lot more impressive than it was before. We've gone up from 13th to 7th off the back of that result. That is insane, but I will certainly take it. If you've enjoyed the video, I'd really appreciate if you could put a like on there for me. I would love to get all these FM16 beta episodes up to 20 likes. It makes it much easier for people to find, so I'd really appreciate if you could pop a like on there for me. And get involved in the comments. Let me know what you think of the new back to basics tactic. It certainly seems to have worked against Man City. So really like to hear your thoughts on it, and keep an eye out for my other new video that's come out today, which is the announcement for my FM16 long-term career save. I released it earlier today, and it's well worth a look. I'm really looking forward to that save. Make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on that one. Thanks very much for watching.